for all of us who are followers of Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya. The followers of Krishna are called Karshnas. The followers of Lord Vishnu are called the Vaishnavas. And followers of Srimati Radharani are called Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So there are various type of religious movements and religious processes all across the globe. All of the religious processes teach about 5 things. Where am I now? Where do I have to go? And what is the method that I have to undergo? And what are the difficulties and obstacles and challenges that will come my way? And after reaching that destination, what experience will I get? Any organization you take, they all will, any religion, any scripture you take, these 5 things are the 5 fundamental philosophical questions. Where am I now? I am in the material world. Where am I supposed to go? To the spiritual world. And what are the methods or the processes that I have to undertake? And what are the obstacles and struggles and the challenges that will come my way? So that is, we have the very simple process, Kevala Ananda Kanda, chanting of the holy name and performing Navavidha Bhakti, living in the company of devotees, worshipping the Sri Vigraha, a form of the Lord, and also adopting the mood of Trinada Pishunichana Tararupi Sakshana, Amanina Manadena. These 4 aspects of humility, tolerance, giving respect and not anticipating respect, and chanting the holy name inoffensively. Now, these are our processes. And what obstacles will come our way, that is explained in the Anartha Vritti, the mountain to be crossed over. And then what experience will I get when I reach to my destination? This is one very important question, which varies from different philosophies. There is Dvaitam, Advaitam, Visishtadvaitam, Dvaitadvaitam, Shuddhadvaitam, like the different philosophies. And some of the philosophies may be saying something very close to each other, and others may say apparently very far. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that 4.10, he says that some people hearing various contradicting philosophies, they altogether give up everything and go away, and they go back to sense gratification again, some people. But those who are more fortunate are those who persist in asking questions and continuing their devotional service. They will very soon come to great clarity in spiritual life. One thing is very clear in all the religions, they all talk about liberation from material entanglement. Like right opposite our NBCC temple, there is a Jain temple. Here, if you go there, you will see they have drawn a samsara chakra. And when you go beyond the samsara chakra, you find all the Tirthankars are there. They all have become liberated from the wheel of samsara and gone beyond the wheel of samsara, and they will not again be entangled within this wheel of samsara. If you ask them, they will say that they have become pure, they have become purified of bodily identification. They have become free from honor and dishonor, pleasure and pain, and all those dualities, profit and loss and everything. They have become neutral, and they have no more any connections in this world. Neither do they have enemies, nor do they have any friends. They have become completely like God, completely pure. But if you ask them, what is the engagement beyond that? There is, they will say that, oh, those things you cannot understand at the moment. Because you need to know that first you have to become pure and go beyond this wheel of samsara. And then once you are pure, you go there, then all the other things will be revealed beyond that. Basically, they will say you will attain peace And you go to all the Buddhist matas all over the world, and they all talk about repairing the mind that is clouded with so many types of varieties of impressions that we have accumulated, gathered all our life, and those impressions, for us to remove them, you have to first become silent. They say that you have spoken too much nonsense, and you have done so many nonsense things. You have to repair them now. And for repairing, they teach that you have to become completely silent, and you have to withdraw yourself from the external environment. And by becoming silent and calm, you will become a thinker. Otherwise, you don't think at all. You just join the rut, and then you run with the world. They say that's useless. You have to first withdraw. So withdrawal from the world and denial of pleasures and attaining a state where you think, and gradually over a period of time, erase all the impressions. Again, the same point of nirvana. They try to attain nirvana, go to a state of peace. So something is matching between the two, you can see. That is, what is matching is, first fellow also says, go beyond the wheel of samsara. So these people are also saying that you have to erase the material impressions and go to nirvana, which appears to be the same destination, what the first fellows are thinking. Very similar to that. And then if you see further, Brahmavadis. So these Brahmavadis, the third people, if you see, they have something positive beyond going beyond the wheel of samsara and nirvana. What is that? They will say Brahmam Satyam Jagat Mithya, they will say, which means there is a first time you will understand there is something called Brahmam, absolute truth, Brahmam Satyam. It is truth, it's ultimate truth. And Jagat is Mithya, this world is illusion, they say. And which means till now, the first two things, there is no talk about what is Brahman at all. It is more of negating the negative. That has been the goal in the first two. Because the whole focus is on what is negative and negating the negative. That is the first two. Whereas here in the third one, you have to negate the negative for the purpose of attaining the positive. And what is positive? It's Brahma. So you have to talk about set A and not talk about A dash. In mathematics, we say A dash. A dash means what is not A. That is what first two religions are talking. When you come to the third one, then they talk about A, that is set A. That is one. But the problem is, the description is vague. What is vagueness? It says that Brahman Satyam, Jagat Mithya, it is Satyam. Then you ask them, what is the Brahman? Can you explain? Oh, they will say, don't ask me. It is Anirvikara. They say it is Nirvikara, Anirvachaniya. They will say, Anirvachaniya means it cannot be described in words. It cannot be, cannot be explained. It has to be experienced. And they say, according to Vedanta, those who say, I know, they don't know. Similarly, there are other people who say, I don't know, and they can never know. Then what is the answer to that? They will say, those who are in between, I don't know and I know. In between. They are the people who are beginning to know. This kind of very, enigmatic statements are made in their writings. That means, the people on their path of realization of the Brahman, if they say, I totally don't know, then there is no scope of their interest in the subject. Then they will say, just go on with your routine life. But they also have something more than I don't know. That means they know something, but they can't confidently say, I know fully. Therefore, they are in between I don't know and I know. They are in between that. So, okay, what is that you are between I don't know and I know? What is that you know? They will say that description is incomplete. Therefore, we should not describe it. Just keep on experiencing it by understanding Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. This is what they do. I am spirit soul. I am not this body. So they also focus considerably on what is this body and how I am not this. This body is made up of Panchamahabhut. I am not that. My subtle body is made up of Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. My intelligence is ego. I am not that. And I am not the senses of the body for the pleasure of whom I am chasing in this world. The sense pleasures. I am not the senses. I am not the sense objects. And, I'm not any of these items that I see in this world with my naked eyes, the material 24 elements. I am actually consciousness. I am the seer within. I am conscious personality. That personality by whose presence the eyes are able to see. That personality by whose presence the nose is able to smell. That personality by whose presence the ears are able to hear. The personality by whose presence the sense of touch makes conscious experience. So that is the person who is I. And I have to realize who is that I. And that is the goal of my life. That is the Brahmavadis. So that whole focus is on what I am and what I am not. That whole focus is that I am spiritual, I am not the body. So now why are they doing it? Srila Prabhupada explains. I was just hearing yesterday. Prabhupada explains in one of the lectures. He says that by recognizing the soul, who is a sample of God, or part and parcel of God, they will realize God eventually. Just like when you cook rice in a pot, you just take one rice and you do like this. By that you can know whether the entire rice is cooked or not. So one rice is a sample for the entire pot of rice. Similarly, by studying the soul, you can understand the nature of absolute truth. By studying the soul very deeply. So therefore they start from the Annamaya. Annamaya Kosh means, food is everything for us. Generally children up to the age of 5, 6, 7, they are in Annamaya stage. Food is everything. Just eat food and sleep. And nothing more. Children take the breast milk of the mother and go to sleep. Again they get up, drink milk and go to sleep. Eating and sleeping, that's all. And when one goes to Pranamaya, in that stage the activity starts. The child starts waking up. At that time the child will try to become very active with hands and legs because it's a growing stage, growing phase of life. And that phase goes on till like 14, 15 years. So in that stage you will find the child is growing, developing. He has to play now, he has to jump, he has to do activity, he has to go to school. So the activity is bustling with activity, Pranamaya stage. Competition, I got the first rank, I got the 5th rank, like that. There's a competition with other living beings, that's Pranamaya. And then comes the stage of Manomaya. Manomaya actually means a stage of dreaming. Whatever you cannot get, you dream about it. Some people want to achieve many things in life they can't get. They will go and sit in a movie theater where they can see those things. They can imagine themselves to be the hero or heroine. And they'll be satisfied watching the things on the movie because they impose their personality on the hero or the heroine. And they are satisfied with what they wanted to see in their life. Like, you find the hero and heroine are dancing and they have 10 people by their side. Hero has 10 people with him and heroine has 10 people, which never happens in real life. But in movie, it can happen. So they are living in a dream world, which they wish to achieve. Oftentimes they don't achieve. Manomaya stage. Therefore, you find teenagers are in a dream world. They are not in the real world. They are imagining so many things. They think I am a hero, I am a heroine, I am doing this, I am doing that. And they have everything on dreaming. And then we come to the Vijnanamaya stage, which is the real beginning of life, human life. In Vijnanamaya stage is the stage where one is fed up and frustrated with the material world. And one begins asking the question, Vijnana means scientific. Scientifically, philosophically starts asking question, who am I? Why am I living in this world? Why this world is created? Where am I supposed to go? Is this world created without any rhyme or reason? These kind of questions people ask. At that time, they wake up to the knowledge of the soul, Aham Brahmasmi. So that is the fourth stage, Vijnanamaya stage. And then that's called Brahma Pucham Pratishta. In the you will find this in the Vedanta Sutra. Then when one studies the scriptures, the very first verse of Vedanta Sutra says, Atha means therefore. Atato Brahma Jignasa means therefore you should do spiritual inquiry. Have you ever seen a book anywhere in the world which starts with the first word therefore? If you say therefore, in Bhagavatam also you find the word Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari. That is also therefore, Tasmat. But before that Tasmat, there is good amount of information told. Why? Why you have to glorify Lord Hari and remember Lord Hari and all those things, Tasmat Bharat Sarvatma Bhagwan Ishwaro Hari. Generally, you never talk to anybody. I don't begin a class with, therefore, I don't say like that. Therefore means before that you should have spoken something. But Vedanta Sutra is the only book which begins with the word therefore, because when you open the book, that means the Vedanta Sutra is presuming that you are a human being. Therefore, that you have got a human being, therefore you should read this book now. That's the meaning of that. So that means, you will understand this book. A dog or a cat cannot understand. And a human being is supposed to open this book and read and understand the Vedanta Sutra. So when one studies the Vedanta Sutra, you can also correlate some of the concepts of the Vedanta Sutra with Taittiriya Upanishad. So Taittiriya Upanishad says, Raso vai saha rasam hi evayam labdva anandi bhavati. The Taittiriya Upanishad says that Raso vai saha, the supreme truth is a reservoir of transcendental mellows. See, Prabhupada was the one who utilized this beautiful word, mellows. What is this mellow? Mellow means a pleasurable experience that one gets in exchanging in relationships with others. Like sometimes you have a pleasing relationship with someone and you have a bitter relationship with another. In this world, we all have experience of that. And whenever you come across those bitter experience giving people, you just try to finish off as soon as possible and you want to quit the relationship. If they ask something, you formally say something and then you immediately push off from that situation. You don't have eagerness, the affinity is not there when you go near those people. And formally, officially, you have to do something with them. You do it reluctantly and finish off. There is nothing to connect. So there are people with whom you don't feel affinity. You feel, in fact, averse. And there are people with whom you feel affinity. There are people with whom you are neutral. And there are people with whom you have no connection. These are 4 types of people in this world. So people with whom you have nothing to give and take with, they are not coming into your life at all. They are walking in the road, going, coming. You don't know who they are and they don't know who you are. Those are people who are away from you. And then there are people who come in your life but who are neutral. With whom, like in your office also, you may say good morning or whatever, you talk. But neither do you have a favorable experience or a bitter experience with them. You have no experience with them. They are just formal connection. Then there are people with whom you have bitter experiences and you talk to them for the official sake, but your heart is not with them. And then the 4th category are the people with whom you have affinity. And in that people with whom you have affinity, affection, there are even children, you will find sometimes children don't open up to parents, but they open to their friends a lot. They talk hours and hours. If parents or teachers call and ask them, hey, please tell me about this, they will talk 2 words and they'll push off. And they won't, especially those teenagers, they will find, because they find affinity with peers more. But they are not able to connect with the elders more after they cross the teenage. So the affinity factor is very easy to understand in this world. And in that affinity, there are various types of relationships that we all cherish. Now you see in this world only, we don't have to talk about that world at all. You can only first talk about this world. Because when we are in Vijnanamaya stage, from Vijnanamaya, we have to go to the last stage called Anandamaya stage. And Anandamaya stage is the revelation of the super soul. The soul and super soul and the loving relationship between the two. That is Anandamaya stage. But even before going to Anandamaya, in Vijnanamaya itself, when you are aware of the knowledge of the soul, you can observe in this world that there are 5 types of affinity, relationships with other living entities that we experience. Like for example, Shantaras means what? You have affinity, but in great reverence. Some people you admire in your life, you stand at a distance with folded palms and awe and veneration. You say that if somebody says, why don't you do something for them? You are loving them so much, you are affectionate. They'll say, don't ask me. What a great personality. I really admire. I've never seen someone like this in my life. Just one short meeting with this person made all the big difference to me, like that we say. That is actually Shantara. Shantaras means there is no service, but there is admiration, there is veneration, there is Aishwarya Bhava, very great Aishwarya. And then you feel the affinity, you can't go away from that. At the same time, you are not rendering service, just like Arjuna's admiration for the Vishwarupa Darshanam. When I will show you one small video, you will understand what I am saying. Yeah. I will just actually I have two videos. I will show you. And the one which is shorter one I'll show you because the other one is a little longer. I think I have to share it, I think, just a minute. So in a moment we talk about Krishna, sometimes we may not know the value of Krishna unless we see this type of here it is. I'll just share it just a minute. So you can tell me whether sound is also coming.
आपकी शक्ति, आपका ज्ञान, तेज और ऐश्वर्य से युक्त.
Okay, well, now you can see it now, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Now it's visible now. Okay. So I saw, isn't it? So when Arjuna saw the form of Lord, he saw all the devatas arrayed in his body because Deva Narayanangaja, Bhagavatam says that. The devatas are all limbs of the part of the body of the Lord, and they are empowered by the Lord to do all their activities, respective activities. The potency to control the wind, control the fire, control the rains, the potency to identify the sinful living beings and offer them punishment, and all these different abilities in the devatas actually come from Krishna originally. Just like we say, Balam Balavatam Saham Buddhir Buddhimatam, similarly. Like for example, how can Yamaraj know all the living entities who are sinful across the globe and take them to his abode? That's only possible because Super Soul empowers him to know so much about those living beings. So in this way, in the Shantras, a person develops great reverence, just like Arjuna is developing reverence here. Saketi matva prasabam jatuktam he Krishna he yadapa he saketi ajanatam mahimanam tavedam maya pramadat pranayena vapi. He says, by my pranaya, intense love for you, I became pramad. My pramad means I became mad in my attachment for you, not knowing who you are. And he develops a great reverence for Krishna's greatness. So he is trembling, he is offering obeisances from all directions and praising Krishna with great words in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So this is Shantras where there is admiration and there is no service. There is only veneration, admiration, observation. And then, so this is superior to the residence in Brahma Jyoti. Because in Brahma Jyoti you don't see any form. But in Shantras, you begin seeing the form. The lowest form of personalist, we can say, is the Virat Rupa worshipper or Vishwarupa worshipper. Ekatvena pridaktvena bahuda vishwato mukham jnana yajnena chapyanye yajanto mamapasate. Krishna says this, that there are people who are jnanis. Initially they study, I am not the body, I am spirit soul. Then when they come to understand the Brahman, they study the sample rice, as I told you. They study the sample which is soul in our own body. As they study the sample more and more, they understand the purity of the Atma. They see the aloofness of the Atma. They see the sanctity. They see the Atma beyond the three gunas, unaffected by, so pristine and pure. When they see this, they tend to think that the Atma is God. They tend to think like that. Because Atma's qualities and God's qualities are matching very well. The only difference is Atma is Anu and Krishna is Vibhu. So in the 15th chapter Purushottam Yoga, Krishna is saying, Yasmat sharamati toham aksharada pichottamaha Atosmi loke vede cha pratitaha purushottamah. Very important verse. 2 verses before that, Krishna is telling, Dvavimau purushau loke ksharaha akshara evacha ksharaha sarvani bhutani kutastokshara uchyate. So these verses should be taught to the Buddhists and Jains and other category of people I told you. Why? Because he says in this world there are two souls, two type of souls. Kshara akshara evacha, he's saying. Fallible souls, infallible souls. Ksharaha sarvani bhutani. 99.9% of the jivas in this world are wandering without understanding the goal of life, meaning of life, purpose of life. And they are trying to struggle in life and sort out the problem. Like recently, somebody was telling me how the Christians are preaching very powerfully in Hyderabad. So there is one Satish Kumar Cavalry, they call Satish Kumar Cavalry. If you put in YouTube, you will see. So this person is a big fellow, like 1.5 million followers or something. He has 1.5 million, 2 million. So Christians are not only making churches, they are also vigorously preaching. So then I clicked and I wanted to see what type of preaching are they doing. So when I clicked and went to his YouTube, I found every Friday they have a prayer, and so if you see those things, if you watch what they are doing, lot of people in the chat are like, I'm going for exam, please pray for me. There are people writing that, my so-and-so relative, is sick now, please pray for them. Most of them are actually material prayers for material needs fulfillment, most of the people. They speak very emotionally and offer a prayer to God that please save this person from sickness, please give this person very nice this thing. So most of the people, even those who come to the path of religion, they are more or less trying to sort out material life and get relief from the sufferings. So this is coming in the 4 categories of people who go to Krishna, Artho, Jignasu, Artharthi. So most of the fellows. In that, out of the 4, the 2 people have complete material in that, Artha and Artharthi, both of them. And Jignasu is inquiring about the soul, and he is still on a material platform. He has not yet found out the soul. And then Jnani is the best person out of the 4. Krishna says, Tesham Jnani Nityapte Eka Bhakti Vishishyate. Priyo Jnanautyartam Aham Chachamama Priya. Because this Jnani is not ordinary Jnani, he is Eka Bhakti Vishishyate Jnani. Which means he has not only searched after God, he has found that Vasudeva Sarvamiti. He has already come to that stage. And Prabhupada says, all the Jnanis before the Vasudeva Sarvamiti Jnani are all ignorant because they have not yet found Vasudeva. So that means a Jnani is inferior to a Bhakta. This verse proves that. Sometimes people think Jnana is better than Bhakti, but Bahunam Janamanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudullabha means the Mahatma is one who knows Vasudeva, and all the previous set of Jnanis who have been researching about God, they are all inferior to this Jnani who has found out God. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudullabha. So that is this Tesham. And this Jnani now is actually in Shantaras. Therefore, I am speaking about this. Like you saw the Vishwarupa Darshan now. From this point onwards, Jnani finds out that Krishna is all that is. At this stage only. This is called as Vishwato Mukham. Ekatvena Pratatvena Bahuda Vishwato Mukham. He is the Jnani who has become a personalist now. But after becoming personalist, he has no propensity for service. His only propensity is to admire and have veneration, bow down, offer obeisances from all directions and adore the Lord, but he won't give service out of, If you ask him, why are you not rendering service? He'll say, hey, what are you talking? What food God needs from me? All the food in the world belongs to him. Like that he will say, hey, why don't you offer some dress for the deities? What are you talking? All clothes, cotton, everything comes from God. You will give dress to God. It is a shame. It will be humiliation on the Supreme God. Everything belongs to him. This is the Jnani who has just now becoming a devotee now, in the preliminary stage of devotional service. That is in Shantaras. Therefore, when you go from Shantaras, then you come to Dasyaras. And Dasyaras is a stage when, like Mother Yashoda, there is a book called as Krishna Bhavanamritam by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. There's a beautiful pastime he explains there, how in Vrindavan, Mother Yashoda is calling some of the covered boys, called Chitrak, Patrak, Raktak. They are all servants of Krishna. So they are also in great reverence from Krishna, they respect for Krishna. But there is one addition in that. They have developed an eagerness to serve Krishna. They want to do some service. So she is telling Raktak that, hey, please pick up this basket of rava laddus with along with the covering at the top. She said, keep it with you. Even if Krishna does not ask for this, but 1 o'clock in lunchtime, you give this to him because he's a naughty fellow. He keeps on playing. He forgets to eat. So you go to him and you give him. And he says, Maya, don't worry. I will make sure he eats, he says. Then she called another servant of Krishna, Patrak. She's telling, please take this jeweled jar full of rose-scented waters. And when Krishna goes to play, he may become thirsty, but he will not ask for water because he becomes absorbed in play. So make sure you feed him water, she gives. So these are the fellows who are beginning the service now. If you see from the Shantras, they come to a stage where they want to render some service to their master. So they carry eatables or drinkables for Krishna with them, given by Mother Yashoda. And then amongst the boys, you find there are people who are equal friend of Krishna, like Sridama, Sudama, Madhumangal. Yashoda is calling them and saying, hey boys, what kind of games are you guys playing? I heard that you are all sliding down in the Govardhan hill, like a slide, children come in a slide. They climb up and come in a slide. I'm seeing some scratch marks on Krishna's body. Krishna's body is like a blue sapphire. So, she's telling that, I heard you are playing such games. Is it true? The boys are looking at each other, whether to speak the truth or not. Because if you speak the truth and tell Yashoda that, yes, we do play such games, then she may say, let Kana not go with all of you, let him just stay at home. You guys, if you want, you play, I cannot send him, she may say. And at the same time, if you don't speak the truth, if the truth comes out later, they will get punishment from their parents. So they're wondering what to do. And then boys give a very enigmatic answer. They're saying, no, Maya, we don't play such games. Don't worry, we will not play such games in future, in the presence of elders, like that they are saying. So what is the meaning of in the presence of elders? That means when you people are there around us, we will not play. When you are not there, we will play. That's the meaning. So, and then there are Krishna's elders, like Rishabha, Bhadra, Balaram. They are all elders of Krishna. And Krishna has to respect them also. He can do naughty pranks with his friends, but with elders, he has a different relationship. So, like for example, you all know when Krishna was tied by the ropes by Mother Yashoda, one time Balaram came back on the Diwali day, seeing his brother bound, in the grinding mortar. Balaram became angry. He asked, hey Kana, who bound you like this? Nobody can bind my brother. So then Krishna told, Maya has bound me like this. Balaram said, what a great deal. I can unwind you immediately. But then Balaram said, wait a minute. Before I release, I have to know, why did mother bind you? Then Krishna said, you see, she bound me because, I stole butter. Oh, that's it. That's a simple thing. See, Kana, mother has been always complaining about you. You're going home to home and stealing butter. Now you promise me that you will not do this, then I will release you. Like that he said. Krishna said, what is the use of you releasing me? Because as soon as you release me, all my friends are waiting. I have to go with them to different homes for, stealing the butter. Then Balaram said, then I cannot release you. See, from this what you learn, Balaram also is behaving in Vatsalya with Krishna. Like whatever concern Yashoda has, he also has similar concern for Krishna. So therefore you find that the elder brothers, so Yashoda is calling, when they're all about to leave for the forest, Yashoda is calling all these seniors, especially Balaram. She's saying, hey Balaram, this fellow, Krishna, look at him, his body is tender like butter, yet he is very dashing. He's always playing games which are dangerous. I am afraid you should not jump into some pond and get drowned. You should not be scratched by the monkeys. And the cows should not put their hooves on Krishna's lap I am afraid my child will get affected. Beyond all this, I am afraid Kamsa should not send some demons to attack my tender child. So, Balaram, please be around with him. Never leave him alone. And Balaram immediately puts his hand on Krishna's shoulder and says, Maya, don't worry. He is always in my control. I will make sure he is protected. And if Kamsa comes, in a moment, we will vanish from there and come to home. Kamsa sends any demons. Either Balaram says, and Yashoda is very satisfied. So in Vrindavan temple in ISKCON, you will find Balaram is putting hand on Krishna's shoulder, correct? But there are other acharyas who have given another interpretation to this. Balaram needs the support of Krishna, so he is keeping. Just like old people sometimes keep a hand on somebody's shoulder. Whether Balaram is taking support of Krishna or Balaram is protecting Krishna, both are correct. Different acharyas have given different explanation. So this is the Sakyaras, and beyond that the Vatsalyaras, where you find Mother Yashoda. If you see all these rasas, you will find development of rasas. There is one increment in each of this. If you see Shantaras, only reverence, no service. And the Dasyaras, the service is added. And then Sakyaras, service is added with intimacy. And like how intimacy? For example, many times our equal friends, their dealings with us makes us joyful. But their service to us is encouraging us, patting us, pleasing us, joking with us, being around us, being available for us, to share our joys and sorrows. That is equal relationship. Not that you expect them to do some other service for you. They may do, but it's occasional. But in general, the equal people, friends, they generally share joys and sorrows in our life. They enthuse us, they motivate us, they are around us, they are available for us. That's such kind of relationship. The covered boys and equal. So that is the Sakyaras. And that means intimacy, service plus intimacy. And when you go to, Vatsalyaras, there is service, like Yashoda is making butter for Krishna, that is service. And there is intimacy because she is breastfeeding him, taking the child on the lap. It's more intimate relationship. Joking with him, chasing after him, capturing him and tying him up. When she is running after Krishna, both Yashoda is laughing and Krishna is laughing. They are laughing for different reasons. Yashoda is laughing, thinking that I am going to capture you today, I will not leave you. Namameshwaram Satchit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Viyoluka Ladhavamanam. He says, Dhavamanam means to run behind. Paramrishtam Atyanta To Drutya Gopya. He says that I'm going to capture him. Krishna is running, smiling, and telling her that you run behind me, you won't be able to catch me. But then Krishna is wondering, I am running and running and running and running long distance. Nobody has come. I think Mother Yashoda has got tired. So he just wants to make sure she is not behind him. So he slightly turns around and she immediately keeps her hand on his shoulder. She caught him. That was the time she caught him. Because he slowed down his speed and a little bit turned around. And he was caught immediately. So here is example of Yashoda serving him, intimate with him, and also feeling a need for maintaining him. Maintaining Krishna means, if I don't feed him, my child will be hungry. If I don't protect him, from monkeys and all these different creatures and all these different things which she told Balaram, she is in a protecting mood. Or somebody may laugh at Yashoda and say, you are protecting God. That's what he asked Uddhava. Mathura meets Vrindavan. There is a beautiful book by His Holiness Gaur Govind Swami. He's asking Mother Yashoda and Nandapapa, you people are protecting him. He is creating millions of universes, just like I showed you in the picture now. In his own hand, all the solar system is sitting and he's just floating it up. And all the planets are set in motion by Kala. So they showed all those elements. Bhumi, Rapa, Anala, Vaju, Kam, Mana, Buddhi, Rahankar, and then also Kala. So he is setting everything in motion. He is not Nobody is his mother, nobody is his father. He is the super soul in the heart of everybody. All that Uddhava explained. And Nanda and Uddhava, Yashoda couldn't understand anything. They asked, what are you bluffing? When there is a lightning and thunderbolt in the sky, he comes running to us. And you are saying he's creating universes? What are you talking? Yeah. And when he is hungry, he is crying. Does God cry? And if he's goddess of fortune, then why does he have to steal from somebody's home? They were arguing like that. And you are saying he is Bhagavan. We are worried. How can our child be Bhagavan? They were wondering. And then he told them, you are the Yuvam Shlagyatamam, he said. You are the most fortunate people in the world because you developed prema for Krishna. And Nanda Baba chastised him. Hey, you say you are a student of Brihaspati? What kind of educated man are you? First you are calling my son as Bhagavan. Now slowly my mind is feeling that my Neelamani is Bhagavan. And then now we have lost him, he has gone to Mathura. And then you are saying we are very fortunate. What kind of fortune is that? We are crying for Krishna and you are calling us fortunate? He was scolding him. No, he said, Uddhava said, wait a minute. You are fortunate because you are longing for Krishna, you are crying for Krishna, you are remembering Krishna. They said, he looked at Yashoda and told Yashoda, hey, look at this fellow. He's saying crying is fortunate, he's saying. That's Nanda Baba was saying like that. So, this is Vasalya Prem where they feel they have to maintain Krishna. And then comes the Madhurya Prem. And this is the fifth one. With all these things, not only maintaining Krishna, beyond that, the kind of intimacy and the kind of service attitude that is there in Madhurya Leela is impeccable. So you know the pastime of Narada meeting Krishna and Krishna having a headache. So when Krishna wanted some dust from the feet of his devotees, nobody in the world was ready to give except the young gopis. When he went to the young gopis, they all sat in a circle and put the dust in a cloth and gave him a big heap of dust without any fear that they will have to go to hell for that. They said, we can go to hell forever, they said, if it is going to relieve Krishna of his headache even for a moment. So this gopis Sharanagati is inconceivable. They are giving their body, mind, words, their whole existence. And more importantly than that, in those days, if somebody, Krishna was only, when he played on his flute and called the gopis for rasa dance, he was 8 years old. And some of the gopis were 9, some of them were 11, and some of them were 6 or 7. So their age group was like this. So in those days, they would marry the little girls very early, correct, no? So in the Vedic time, some of them are married, some of them are unmarried. And in those days, the girls were completely under the shelter of the father. And after the marriage, under shelter of the husband. And chastity is considered the greatest vow. So, in fact, if a woman would break the law of chastity, then they are next life they become Rakshasis. Even the Rakshasis in Lanka who were along with Trijata, they are all actually women in one place. There is another place. It's a pastime from the Purana. It says that they were going behind one attractive looking Brahman who was singing on his instrument. Later on, the Brahman gave them Atma Bodh and sent them all back to home, not to walk the path of Adharma. They all understood. But even momentarily thinking in their mind, they became Rakshasis in the next life. But these gopis are pure spirit souls who are called, like we say, no, they're all Ananda Chinmaya, Rasa Pratibhabitavis, Tabir Yeva Nijirup Tayakalabi. So in that Ananda Chinmaya Ras, they all have spiritual bodies. Their love for Krishna was completely spiritual. If you read Krishna book, Prabhupada says, the gopis' bodies were lying at home. And the fathers, brothers, sons, they were thinking that the gopis at home, but the spirit souls had left the body. And they had gone to have a spiritual dance with Krishna, and that is Rasa dance. Rasa dance is not a material dance, it's a spiritual dance. And those gopis who are not qualified to enter the Rasa dance due to some tinge of lust or tinge of worldly attractions and allurements, if somebody thought, I want gold, I want silver, I want enjoyment in this world, they could not join the Rasa dance. Those who are Ekanta Bhaktas, and Kevala Bhaktas, Shuddha Bhaktas, only, therefore, Radharani is a supreme emblem of Mahabhagavata, Prabhupada writes. Amongst the Mahabhagavatas, in the range of the Mahabhagavata, she should be kept in the topmost pedestal. So all these gopis, supreme devotees, for a moment they cannot forget Krishna. Evam Rubanam Virahatura Brisham Prajasteya Krishna Vishakta Manasa Visrijya Lajjam Rurudus Masuswaran Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. So the whole night when Krishna Balram were about to leave Vrindavan with Akrura, the gopis were crying, Rurudu. But they were not just crying like that, they were not crying. They were crying Govinda, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, Madhusudana, like that. They were calling Krishna's names. See, this is the separation of the gopis. Therefore, the gopi-Krishna relationship is not like a boy-girl relationship. In feeling of separation, they are calling out Krishna's names, like a pure devotee, like Madhavendra Puri is calling out, Ayi Krishna, he's saying, Ayi Dina Dayardra Natha He, Mathura Natha Kadavalokase, he's asking like that. Hridaya Kataram. So he was calling Krishna's names. Like that, gopis are calling Krishna's names. When they're feeling separation, when he's about to go, they're falling on the ground, they're stopping the horse, they're catching the wheel of the chariot all around, and you have to see their pathetic state of this is the moment Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cherished the most, the feelings of separations of the gopis when Krishna left Vrindavan. This is a pinnacle of Gaudiya Vaishnava life. So now I have to stop the class. It's almost time for my Mangalarti, another 4-5 minutes. But now Radharani's appearance is coming now. In a couple of days, you all will celebrate. So I brought it from the lowest platform to higher and higher. You can see that Jnana is not only the Brahman Satyam, but they don't know what is that Satyam. In Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and over and above that, one more step I left it. There are Vaishnavas who know about the Vaikuntha. In Vaikuntha, they want 5 types of muktis, Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya. Actually, Salokya means they go to the same planet as Lord Vishnu, but they will not meet Lord Vishnu nearby. They'll be far away from him. And Sarupya means they get body like Vishnu, which is 400 form. And then Samipya means like some disciples are able to serve Guru as a personal servant. They are Samipya. Like that one can serve the Lord very intimately, personally. And Sarishti means they enjoy the same opulences of the Lord. That's just like if a Guruji is going in Mercedes-Benz car, then the disciple is also sitting behind. He enjoys the same opulence with the Guru. Isn't the Guru is eating big Mahaprasad given by some Grihastha devotee. After Guru eats, and the disciple also gets to eat very nice prasad. So that is actually Sarishti means they enjoy the similar opulences like the Lord. And then Sayujya, which is condemned by the Vaishnavas. If you see Sri Vaishnava literature, some acharyas have explained the 5 types of mukti. Sayujya is also in a most intimate type of oneness and consciousness with Vishnu. There are people like that who also serve, but there is one meaning Vaishnava and Sri Vaishnava. I have read it in their explanation. But if it is Sayujya, which is Brahma Sayujya or Sayujya in the Lord's body, that is condemned by Vaishnavas, because there is Sayujya where that they want to rest and don't want to do any service. So resting type of liberation is not appreciated by them. They want serving type of liberation. The other 4, there is service. But Vaishnavas, Diyamanam, na grihnanti vinamat sevanam jana, Bhagavatam says. Even if you give one of these 5 muktis, Vaishnavas don't want if there is no seva when in the spiritual world. So, for example, if Lord calls you to Vaikuntha, you go there. Lord says you relax. And then what you will say, better Lord, I will be in Seattle. No, I don't want to come to spiritual world, you will say. Because here we get a lot of seva. Hari Vilas Prabhu keeps everybody nicely engaged in multiple services, isn't it? So you prefer to serve on earth rather than go to Vaikuntha and relax. And then, because you have developed such a tendency, then we enter into spiritual world, Goloka. So Goloka is like, the Prime Minister's home. And Vaikuntha is like Prime Minister's parliament. So when you enter the home, then all the 5 intimate relationships starts. So this is Anandamaya. The Anandamaya stage, you recognize the 5 types of relationships, and the topmost of which is the gopis' relationship with Krishna. And amongst the gopis, Radharani is the topmost. So I have concluded my class with Radharani being topmost, and you can hear more about Radharani in the Radheshyam Day festival when you all will celebrate. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki.
Thank you so much, Prabhupada.
Thank you. And therefore, if you see in this light, like this, you understand all the philosophies. Ultimately, they all are pointing finger to the same absolute truth, but with greater and greater intimacy and depth. But unfortunately, they have not gone through the higher rungs of the truth. Therefore, they are stuck in the lower rungs of the ladder of the truth. But we are all the most fortunate because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not keep anything secret for us. He has given all the secrets and he is breaking open the storehouse of love of God for all the jivas of Kali Yuga very freely. So let's take full advantage. Govinda Anandini Radha, Govinda Mokhini, Govinda Sarvasva Sarva, Kanta Shiromani. She is the chief of all the Lakshmis, Radharani. Even the Lakshmis are expanding from her. And we have got her shelter by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and Sri Prabhupada's teachings. Srimati Radharani ki
Jai.
thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhu, for the next month's class and all, I'll send you the titles and everything by email and then you can circulate them. I couldn't send because of too many programs. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Do you have time, Prabhu, now? You don't have.
No, now time is up. We can do one thing, Prabhu. They can send the questions which I will cover in the next class.
Yes.
But you take the questions now itself because they may forget the question later on. Huh?
Devotees, you can share the question in the chat or in the.
And you can copy and send me. And next month when I come, I'll start with these questions early next month. Okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe I can speak more on Radharani next month when I come. Huh?
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
You can message me if you have questions in the WhatsApp group.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yes. Hare Krishna.